It's the holiday season, and let me tell you what the best present you can get anybody is. As you guys can see, they've already released Daniele De Rossi, Stefan Ruffier, Marco Pirlo, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, Christian Benteke, and Marek Hamšík for the squad building challenges during FUTmas. If you haven't caught the trend here, they're releasing players, 3 players per day so far. I imagine that they'll keep this trend, but 3 players per day that have the number of what day it is. So Advent calendar day 16, which is December 16th, obviously, you're going to see Daniele De Rossi, who's 16, Ruffier, who's number 16. You can see it on the back of his shirt, and then also Pirlo. On the 17th today, we saw Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, we saw Benteke, and we saw Hamšík. So I'm going to be showing you guys which players that have any worth and possibility to be a squad building challenge number 18 through 25, including some things that you haven't thought about. Also, I'm going to be showing you my investments and what investments that you might want to make preparing for each of these squad building challenges. So all I ask in return before we get started is subscribe. It can be my Christmas present. But anyways, let's go ahead and begin. Starting on December 18th of the Advent calendar, we're going with players that have number 18. Those players that are most significant with this number are going to be Nicolas Sansoni, Alberto Moreno, Andres Guardado, Nabil Fekir, Oscar De Marcos, Jermaine Defoe, Bernat, and Jordi Alba. Now, obviously, we don't know which 3 they're gonna choose, and it's probably gonna be very random. If I had to take a wild guess, I think that they're going to go with Nabil Fekir, Jermaine Defoe, and Jordi Alba, but that's a random guess. Just take it with a grain of salt. However, what you can do, and this is up to you, but find the trend in each day and make your investments based off of that. For this squad building challenge here, you do have 3 players from La Liga, and since we haven't had a La Liga squad building challenge, I'd say there's no doubt we're going to have at least one of the La Liga players in the squad building challenges. So Jordi Alba is very possible. So investing in high-rated Spanish La Liga players such as Sergio Busquets and Piqué, maybe even some La Liga players that are high-rated that are pretty cheap like Pepe and Oblak are also good ideas. But you gotta find a trend. There's also 3 players in this squad building challenge that are Spanish, so maybe high-rated Spanish players that aren't in La Liga if you can find any. But that is what you need to look for in each day. Anyways, let's head in to the 19th. Before we move on to number 19, I almost forgot there's a legend that played during his career with the number 18, and that is Paul Scholes for Manchester United. He played throughout his career with number 18 before playing a little bit with the number 22 as well, but mostly the number 18, which means that he could also be a choice for EA to drop a SBC for Paul Scholes. However, this is why I actually think this is possible. This is a card that is going to be in FIFA sometime this year. It's a special SBC card, and originally I thought it would just be for high-rated SBCs. But after we've seen Eden Hazard, Costa, and Aubameyang not get the SBC special card, I'm thinking that a legend, and it all falls into place, a legend could get this special SBC card, which means Paul Scholes might get an SBC for the 18th Advent calendar day. On the 19th of the month, we've got a few more players with the number 19, so bear with me here. We've got Samu Castillejo, Leroy Sané, Islam Slimani, Fabian Johnson, Luka Modric, Santi Cazorla, Marcus Rashford, Serge Aurier, Aver Banega, Moussa Dembele, Sadio Mane, Diego Costa, and Leonardo Bonucci. Considering Samu Castillejo is pretty low rated in FIFA and nobody really gives a shit about him, I don't think it's going to be Castillejo, and it's not going to be Diego Costa because he's already got a POTM SBC out, but there are 5 other Premier League players along with a couple of Spanish players as choices, so I'd say investing in Premier League players is the way to go with this one. When it comes to players with the number 20, our options are Mustafi, Adariz, Dele Alli, Juan Fran, Lucas Biglia, Marcus Asensio, Levin Kurzawa, Sergio Roberto, Adam Lallana, and Andre Ayew. for these number 20s, you have 4 players that are in La Liga, and you also have 4 players that are in Premier League. So with that being said, they're definitely going to choose probably one from each league, and then a third player, which could be another from Premier League or La Liga, or they could choose somebody like Biglia or Kurzawa to get all 3 different leagues. But nonetheless, there's gotta be at least one Premier League and gotta be at least one La Liga player on the 20th. On the 21st, we've got players with the number 21, which includes somebody I'm really excited about. They might do it. Paulo Dybala. Some other ones are Philip Lahm, Andre Gomes, David Silva, Alvaro Morata, Hatem Ben Arfa, Ander Herrera, Andre Schürrle, Omer Toprak. Also, you've got Nemanja Matic and Joe Hart. For this one, the most notable thing, I think, is that there are 3 Bundesliga players, and since we haven't seen a Bundesliga player since Aubameyang, I think they might do one on the 21st, but you've got a few Spanish players, but it's really all over the place. You've got a lot of different leagues, a lot of different countries here. Invest with caution for the 21st. Some important players with the number 22 are Mkhitaryan, Isco, and Willian, along with Artem Zhuba, Franco Vazquez, Danilo Pereira, Gael Clichy, Luis Gustavo, Xherdan Shaqiri, and Kwadwo Asamoah. This would probably be a good day to throw in a weird league like Zhuba or Pereira. Zhuba's from the Russian league, Pereira's from the Portuguese league, so you'll probably see one of the two in the SBCs, but the other 2 could probably come from the Premier League, while we have 5 different choices from the Premier League: Mickey, Willian, Shaqiri, Asamoah, and Clichy, and then you might also see an Isco or maybe a Luis Gustavo as well. The biggest name that pops up on number 23 is going to be Arturo Vidal, but you've also got Christian Eriksen, Samuel Umtiti, Nicholas Gaitan, Seamus Coleman, Shinji Kagawa, Dani Alves, Sigurdsson, Guilavogui, and Emre Can, Batshuayi, and Luke Shaw. So quite a few different choices here on 23. Out of the 12 different players, half of them are from the Premier League and 3 others are from the Bundesliga, so I'd say those are the leagues that you want to focus on. For number 24, you've got John Stones, Loic Perrin, Daniel Rugani, Gary Cahill, Alessandro Florenzi, Jose Jimenez, Lorenzo Insigne, Ezekiel Garay, Hector Bellerin, and Jeremy Mathieu. The only player that's not a defender in this list is Insigne. That's why I think that Insigne has got to get one of them, because I don't think they'll do all 3 defenders. And then I think they'll probably do Bellerin just because that would get a lot of attention, and then maybe going with Florenzi or John Stones or Cahill. I'm not sure. You can take that guess yourself. Finishing it off on Christmas Day with the number 25 players, that's going to be Fernandinho, Miranda, Adrian Rabiot, Socrates, Sirigu Berardi, Nicholas Seol, and Thomas Muller. And then there's one more player who is a legend. That's going to be Gianfranco Zola, the Chelsea legend, who also played with the number 25. For the same reason as Paul Scholes, I think Zola will get a Squad Building Challenge premium card, but there's more of a chance Zola gets one because it's on Christmas and they might want to do something huge on Christmas for FUTmas. I haven't made too many investments yet for FUTmas, but I have made a few, so I'm going to show you which ones I've picked up already, and I'll explain which cards I'm kind of looking for to pick up throughout the week. Starting off with the Legends. If there's going to be a Legend SBC, I don't think there's any doubt there's going to be a requirement of a Legend in the SBC. So Baya and De Boer are the cheapest from their ratings. De Boer is the cheapest legend overall. I ended up getting him for 125k. Baya is the cheapest 87 rated player legend, which was 137,000 coins. And then David Seaman is the cheapest 88 rated card, but I haven't picked him up quite yet. I've got a Modric, Pepe, Iniesta, Cazorla, PK, and a Navas I might be getting rid of. I'm not sure if Navas is a great investment, but these guys I'm standing by. I'm also going to be looking for players like David Silva in the Premier League and more high-rated Premier League cards I'll be picking up throughout the week, and you can find me buying these cards over at twitch.tv/elite. The link is in the description below. I will be picking up those cards over on stream throughout the week and making the investments. So anyways, guys, that's going to complete it for my investments so far. Anyways, they just released 50k packs, so let's finish off by opening up one of the 50k packs that we've got. I've got 1,400 FIFA points right now. 5 packs, they expire in 7 hours, so I'll be asleep then. Hopefully we get something big. It's a big flare, big flare. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Only Gaetan. That is straight trash. Absolutely horrible. I just wasted $10. Oh, God. What else? What else? Oh, for fuck's sake.